Hi everybody, it's Imogen and welcome back to Colouring Kid. I hope you're having a wonderful day. In today's video I'm going to be showing all of my whips that I have in my colouring books. And for any of you that don't know, a whip is a work in progress, so it's a picture that isn't completed. And this video kind of accompanies my uncoloured book video that I did a couple of weeks ago. So I'm not sure exactly when this video will be going up. I did a post a couple of days ago saying that I wasn't going to be putting any videos up whilst we were away, but I've actually figured out a way to schedule the videos. So what I'm planning to do is upload them but schedule them for a particular time. So and I will explain this on a post. I think my completed pages video will have already gone up, but I will put it up close to the end of July, and then this video will be going up sometime after, so you should have two videos whilst I'm away, and hopefully that will work. But I will update you on my community tab, but you will have already seen that by the time you see this video. But yeah, I am excited to do this video. I don't have many whips, but I do have lots of whips in books that I just know I'm not going to colour in. So when I first started colouring, I had all the Joanna Basford books, apart from the ones that obviously hadn't come out at that time, like Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, Wild Flowers and so on, and also all the Millie Marotta ones up to Curious Creatures. And I just know that I am not going to colour in them again unless I get second copies. But I do also have a few other books which again are just abandoned books. So I think A Colourful Town by Chaki Ida, and yeah, just a few others. So really they're kind of just experiment books at this stage, so they're not even whips that I would consider going back to. So I'm just going to show you all of the ones that I could see myself going back to at some point, and all of the current ones I have from the last couple of years. So the first thing I wanted to show you is actually a current whip, and I'll be showing you my other three current whips at the end, but this is one that I'm working on. Now this is a very new style of colouring, and Colouring Queen put up a post on her community tab showing that you can get free downloads of this book, and it's basically colouring but with pointillism. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see because it's so small. I don't even think the camera's picking up all of the letters, but basically there's 5 colours that make up the illustrations. So I've got them here, so pretty standard. So you've got black, red, yellow, green and blue, and for it I'm using my Pentel felt tips and also the Staedtler Triplus colour. So they're, you know, really basic pens. You could use pencil. And yeah, the idea is that you put a dot where all of the letters are that correspond to the colour, so R is red, and then yeah, you just fill it in. So this is going to be a snail shell, and I'm really enjoying it, and I've been working on it since yesterday, and it's obviously a bit of a different colouring style. They have this one for free, also 2 cats on a page and also a dog on another page. So if you click the link on her community tab, it will take you to the PDF where you can download it and print it out yourself. So I've just printed this onto some cards, and it's really fun and quite relaxing because you're just using pens and putting dots onto the paper. I would say if you have any visual impairments, it is very small. So I find myself even straining sometimes to see a few of the letters, because especially in these more detailed areas like here, they're very close together, whereas something like this is isn't as detailed. So I don't know how detailed the other ones are because I haven't printed them out yet. But yeah, it's just really fun and I'm quite enjoying it. So that's just something I thought I would show you, and that's the current whip. I don't know when I'll finish it, but okay, now we're moving on to the books. So firstly, I've got the Colouring Heaven Fairy Tale Special by Hannah Lynn. So I don't have many of the Colouring Heaven magazines. I only get them when I think that I would colour in them, and unfortunately I've missed out on a few that I really wanted to get. But yeah, this one I think I got about 2 years ago. I can't even remember when it came out. It's issue 36. I don't think it says anywhere when they come out, but I know we're definitely past this mark now. I think this was April 2018 or something like that, but there's an exclusive new design in here, and all of these come from the fairy tales that she's done in her books, so her fairy tale book and also other books. And the whip I have in here is this one. So at this time I was really experimenting with skin and following some tutorials and stuff, and this, for one of my first time seriously trying to do it, I'm pleased with how it turned out. I would say that in some areas I have put a lot of shadow in, and I do want to try and get better at doing skin, because it's something that I do want to improve on. But as you can see, I haven't gone further with it, so I needed to do all of her other skin, yeah, and I kind of just didn't. But at the time I was working on where is it, this one, and again I was kind of doing the same sort of skin to just get some practice with it, and I was pleased with how this one turned out. I did a lot of burnishing with my Prismacolors, and then I did one that I really wasn't pleased with because I was just having a bit of a play with markers and I didn't have a right skin tone for her skin. It's the only colour that I had in the Sharpie set that I had, and this is basically orange, so yeah, I didn't have a very good selection. But yeah, that was one that I wasn't really happy with. But yeah, I kind of just abandoned this one. I may come back to it at some point because I'm now getting more into using markers, and I like the fact that there are lots and lots of different illustrations, so we'll see. I would definitely like to come back to this book at some point. If I don't come back to this one, I may come back to a different illustration. Okay, next is from Flora Bunda by Layla Dooley. Now, primarily I work in her flower yearbook, but I do have a couple of whips in here that I have abandoned. So firstly I've got this one, which was a poppy page that I was doing, and I was using gouache on this, I believe. No, I wasn't. I was using my Winsor & Newton ink. And yeah, I kind of just never got back to it. I feel like with this I do need to use a water medium and then go over with pencil. Of course now I've got markers, but I don't have a ton of really neutral colours, like really light greens and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm lacking, I think, in that point, in the sense that they're not really suited for floral designs like this. They're more suited to cartoon images and manga and stuff like that. But yeah, I've got this one which I just never came back to, and also this one, and I did use gouache for this one, and I remember I was trying to do it for my mum for Mother's Day last year, I think, and I didn't give myself enough time to do it, and yeah, I kind of feel like I rushed a bit. But I was planning on going over it with pencils, but I think the details in this do just overwhelm me, and I know that's silly because I really enjoy working in the flower year, but the paper's amazing, so you can really use anything in it. I don't know how thick it is. I don't think it says. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. So I might work on a different one in here and maybe pick one that's slightly less detailed, although they are all pretty detailed. But I absolutely love this book, and you could easily take one out and frame it. And I know this one came out first before the flower year, so I know many people would have got this first, and it is a gorgeous book, and I need to get back to it at some point. So next is Twilight Garden by Maria Troll. Now, I absolutely love Dream Reese. That's my favourite of her books, I think, but I've worked in Schematised the most, which is strange. Sorry, so as I was saying, I've coloured the most in Schematised, which is strange because I like Dream Reese the most. Her newer books I absolutely love as well, I just haven't coloured in them as much. Partly because I love the paper in Dream Reese and Schematised, because they're the Dutch editions, they're amazing. Now I got Twilight Garden, I don't think I got it first, I think I got it after Schematised, but this is the English edition, published by Gibbs Smith, and I do like the paper, but it's very toothy and slightly different from her other books, the paper. And I do love this book. I especially love the first few pages, these ones. I think they're gorgeous. And the only thing that kind of sets me back with this is that there's a lot of, obviously it's Twilight Garden, but there's a lot of leaves and things. There was a There's one especially, like all of these repeated patterns here, and also things like this where there's a huge amount of leaves. It kind of just puts me off those pictures, but then, you know, kind of like the mandala ones are repeated patterns, but I absolutely love the ones with the animals in. And I just think they're gorgeous, and she definitely has a lot more big open spaces in this book compared to her later ones. They're very detailed, her later books in comparison, but this is the whip I have that I started and I just never got back to. Not really sure why I chose this. I think I was just wanting to use the greys a bit and practice with them, because I was using all of the cool greys from Prismacolor. And you can see that from how shiny it is, I did burnish it. And yeah, I just haven't got back to it yet. I'm also debating how I would colour the hedgehog, because I know I've coloured them before, but I've kind of forgotten how I did. But yeah, I do want to get back to this book at some point. I mean, even if I wanted to abandon this page, I guess I could take it out, because it just has a mandala on the other side, and they're not my favourite. But I mean, this one is amazing. It's a double spread, but yeah, I don't know, it's not my favourite of her books. And plus, I've coloured a lot of these pages before on her postcards that I got. So she has Twilight Garden postcards, and I coloured them for my mum and some friends a couple of years ago. Like this one I've coloured before. So, you know, I have already coloured a lot of them, just not in the book. And it was a smaller size. But, I mean, I love the ones with the animals in. And I'm so glad that in her newer books she does have more animals, because I really do love them. But yeah, that's my whip in Twilight Garden. Okay, so next book is Die Welt unter der Lupe Zoolander by Rita Berman, and this is the Under the Microscope land. And I have a few whips in here, and I absolutely love this book, and I was debating whether to get a second copy, but I don't know, I really do love it. But yeah, I do have a couple of whips in here. I didn't mark any of them out, but this was one. And when I first started my channel, I did some colour alongs, very, very different to the one that I've just done. With that, it was all real time, and I was talking, and yeah, I never got round to doing this one. And I had started it, and then yeah, I don't think I had a lot of time around that time, because you know, there were exams and stuff, so I kind of just abandoned it. Again, I'm debating with this one whether to rub it out and just start again at some point, because I can't remember the Prismacolors I was using for that. And it's a gorgeous page, and the pages that I have done in this, I feel like with some of them my style has developed over time. And again, there are a few repeating patterns in here, like this one as well, so I guess I could take this page out, because I'm not one for worrying about taking pages out of my book. Obviously, I wouldn't take a page out like this, where obviously the parrot needs both halves of the body to make the double spread, but something like this, you know, if I didn't really want to colour that, I would take it out. But I have another whip in here. Actually, I might have more. See, I really, really like how this one turned out. I love the wreath ones. I've got this whip as well. Again, I just can't really remember what colours I use. I'm not overly sure what I use, and I'm kind of not happy with them. The only annoying thing is that I haven't even finished all of these brown ones, and so I don't know what colours I used. I can basically remember what I used for the green ones, but yeah, and I don't really want to take the page out because I really like this wreath. So yeah, that's a shame. I forgot I had that whip actually. And again, these, I feel like my style has changed a lot since I coloured these. But I know, because this is one of my favourite pages that I've done, I absolutely love it. And I do have another whip in here, this one. So I started this a while ago and never got back to it. And I know the colours I used, and one of them is getting very short, and it's from my Faber-Castell Eco set, and I can't replace it because I got that set in Spain and I can't find the exact set. But yeah, I started this page, and the cool thing about this is that you see all the animals, and then on this double spread they're all kind of revealed with the landscape, so the butterfly's there and then the butterfly's there in this. So I do want to finish this at some point because I love the animals, but then I know I'm going to have to remember what I used so that I can then do this page. And the only other thing is that there's a page in here that repeats twice. I think it's this one. And it repeats twice in the book, which is kind of, here we go, kind of a bummer because I don't really want to do the same page twice. But yeah, that's a whip that I've got. And luckily I know what I was using for the leaves, but yeah, that's all the whips I have in that book. Okay, next we have Enchanted Forest, and I only have one in here, and I am planning on coming back to it at some point because I absolutely love this book. Oh, that, you can see how yellow the paper is compared to print paper. I really like it though. This is the page that I started, I don't even know when I started it, a while back, but this is one of my newer whips that I abandoned. And yeah, this is obviously the nameplate page, and I started it with Holbein pencils, and I was really liking how it turned out, and then I just never came back to it. I absolutely love this book. Apart from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, I think this is my second favourite book of hers, and it was one of the first books that I ever got, and this is my second copy, and yeah, I do love it so much, and I love her style in this book as well, so I definitely want to get back to it at some point. The only other ones I've coloured in here, the treasure chest, which was a whip for a while and then I came back to it, and then the newer version of Peter Hewitt's tutorial. So this is the old one that I did, and the papers have changed even now. I'm not sure if you can see that, but the newer one is more yellowy as well. But yeah, they're the only ones I've done. And again, I've got whips in the old book that I'm not planning on coming back to. Okay, then we have Magical Jungle, and this is my second copy. And the only one that I've started in here is the title page. And I figured with this I would experiment with water medium because I haven't really experimented with it in any of my copies of her books now because I'm just too afraid to. But seeing as this was my second copy, and I figured why not, I just started working on it. So this paper I love. It's quite yellowy, which I really like. It's a dark creamy colour. It's not my favourite of her books. I just prefer the style and stuff in her other ones, but I do think it's gorgeous. And this is the one that I started, and I used gouache for all of the background, not the background, for all of the green on the leaves. So yeah, I wasn't really sure when I started this whether I would do the gouache and then go over with pencil and gel pen and stuff, or whether I would just go over with gel pen. I figured I would start it, and yeah, I just never came back to it. I just kind of started doing the leaves, and the only thing is, because I've obviously coloured a lot of leaves and flowers and stuff in my time, and there are tons of leaves in this book, as there are with her other ones, and I do love colouring them, but yeah, it's just one that I haven't come back to yet. But again, I think I started it maybe like last year or something, so again it is kind of one of the newer ones. And then we have one from Rhapsody in the Forest, which I know I started about 2 Easters ago. I don't even know what these tags were for. I think they were for autumnal pictures, that's it. I don't know where the one is that I did. I haven't tagged any of these. Okay, so this is the one that I started, and I was using Faber-Castell Polychromos for this, and this was when I didn't really know how to do fur. I didn't have a clue, and because Kanoko Goose's books were one of the first books that I got, what I would kind of do was, even though the animals are so realistic, I just used to do a light layer and then outline all of the fur in a darker colour and then just fade out. So I didn't do any strokes of colour to make it look furry. And yeah, I have done all of the chicks, but I just haven't come back to all the eggs and stuff. And yeah, it's a real shame. I can practice fur and stuff on the other pictures, but I'm embarrassed to say that this is the only page that I've started in this book. And I think I got the book about 2 years ago now. Such a shame. They are very, very detailed. And I think overall I prefer Menuet de Bonheur. Again, I haven't gone back to that in a while because it was one of the first books I got, and I was debating with that one whether to get a second copy but get the Dutch edition because it's got the really thick paper in it. So yeah, but the images are gorgeous in here, and I do want to, if not this page, I do want to start another page in this book at some point. I have also heard that she's coming out with a new book, which is great. But yeah, that's Rhapsody in the Forest by Kaneko Agusa. So they're all the whips that at some point I can see myself getting back to, and they're pretty much all of the whips over the past couple of years. So now I've got 3 current whips that I'm working on. So I've managed to colour a couple of the whips that I had from a couple of weeks ago that I'd started. So I finished both the whips in Fairy Celebrations, obviously, because one of them was the colour along page and one of them was a Christmas in July page that I was doing, and I really wanted to get it done before the end of July and before the video for my completed pages. And also I feel like I finished another one. I finished a Tenderful Enchantments page, which again you might have already seen. Actually no, I don't think you have, but I've finished quite a few over the last couple of days, which is great, and now I'm down to 3 current whips. So the first one I have, which is probably no surprise, is my picture from the Thomas Kinkade Disney Dreams colouring book. So I'm not sure with this whether I'm going to take it away with me, because obviously I outline all of the lines in white ink and it can get quite messy. I think I probably will, because I have all the colours picked out and everything. But yeah, I haven't done any more on this since I did my video showing how I white out black lines. And that's just because I wasn't feeling it. I love the book so much, but yeah, it's just you have to be in the right mood for this sort of thing because it does take a while. But I went back the other day and outlined all of his face in the white ink, and you can definitely see a difference between the normal line art and then where I've put the ink, and I did a lot of layers for that. So I'm planning at some point on going over that and colouring it. And then once I finally finish Cogsworth, at some point I will then probably start the stonework or do the flowers or something like that. So I think I probably will take it on holiday with me because I could see myself working on it quite a bit, and I have the colours to hand, so I probably will. But this book is absolutely gorgeous, and I wanted to start with something relatively simple compared to some of the other pages because some of them are really detailed. But again, I said when I was showing this book that for me all of the pictures are a marathon, not a sprint, because I know that they are going to take ages, and I'm prepared to put in the time for them because I'm really enjoying how it's turning out so far, and I have enjoyed working on it. So yeah, I will come back to it at some point. And just as a side note, the other thing I love about this book, along with the Rita Berman books, is that the spine doesn't crack, because when you open the book, can you see it's not affected there because the glue binding isn't connected to the actual outside of it. So that's a great thing, and I love that because it doesn't crack, and then it's just so much better. But yeah, that's my whip in that book. Now, I have a whip in the Flower Year, but I actually have quite a few other whips in this book as well. So I will show you those. My book is so damaged, it's actually coming apart. And I've put tape on to try and help it, but it's not really working. So I'm just going to kind of flick through this. It might be easier to go from the back, actually. I haven't marked any of these out, so we will kind of just flip through. So I've got this one, which is from the September section, which you've probably seen a lot. I started this ages ago, I think last September, so it's almost been a year. And yeah, I think I know what colours I use, but again, I just haven't come back to it. It's a very detailed double page spread, but yeah, I figured when I did it that I was going to complete the book anyway, so it didn't really matter if I had whips, but it's going to be a lot longer to finish than I thought. So this is my current whip, and I haven't done any more since I last showed you, whenever that was, maybe in my vlog. And yeah, I'm doing these Everlasting Peas. So You can see I've done those, but there's a lot more down here and up there, and I've got the colours to hand, so I will be taking this on holiday, trying to do a bit more, but I've decided with this book to kind of just take it slow and not worry about when I do pages, and if I finish it, I finish it. If I don't finish the book in the next couple of years or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm not really bothered. I'm just gonna take my time with it. So there was another whip that I had. Let me just put this back. It's a very bright pink and it doesn't show up very well on camera, but I know I have another one here. So this flower square I haven't come back to, and I started it in January, so yeah, I do have all of the colours written down for the crocuses and the primroses, but yeah, I just again haven't come back to it, and it is quite detailed as well, but yeah, that's another one I have and need to get back to at some point. I had started it right after I'd done this January page because a lot of the flowers were similar, so yeah, I do remember how I coloured them, so hopefully it will look the same. But it's really strange actually, because this time last year when I was in America I was colouring these pages and I remember them taking me ages. But yeah, they're all the whips I have in the flower year. And finally, I have a current whip in Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, and pretty much always have a whip in this book because I'm constantly working on it, but this is the one that I'm working on. So I think last time I showed you this, I had done all of the backgrounds, and yeah, I haven't done much since, but I was working on a lot of whips, and I figured, well, I need to get some of the other ones done because they were further ahead than this one, and I just knew realistically I wasn't going to get this done before the end of July. So yeah, so far I have just used the warm grey one and putty beige, I think, for the background, and I made it lighter than the other background I did in this book because this is my second copy. Then I've used Holbein's for all of the floorboards, really happy with how they turned out. And then I've done this desk and I've done all of the brown on it, and then I've just got these two to do again in the same browns, probably slightly different. I'll make one of them maybe slightly lighter because obviously you can see that the outer bits of this are a darker brown and then all of the drawers are lighter, so I might have the drawers, the lighter drawer colour as the main colour for this. I'm not really sure, but yeah, my plan for this is just to go slowly with it, and I think what I'm going to do is, once I've finished all of the furniture bits and the main kind of bulk of the page, I will start doing all of the shiny objects because there are quite a few in on this page. So things like the boat in the bottle and all of the jars, like the fish bowl, things like that. So I might do all of those and do all the jelly roll glaze and stuff, just so that, you know, it comes together slowly. But there's a lot to work on, and I am conscious of keeping it a minimal type of palette. I know obviously this page, for example, that I did wasn't really a minimal palette, but I felt like it all went together. And I also need to make sure that the cuckoo clock looks exactly the same on this page. So yeah, there's a lot to work on with this, and I'm just going slowly with it. And a thought I had, which I did mention in a couple of videos, I think, is that I was going to split the book into four sections, and then say, well, it doesn't matter what order I do the pages in this section, as long as I finish that section before I move on to the next section, then that's fine. So you know, the first section might end here and I have to colour all of these pages before I can move on. But then another thought I had was that because this page is going to take such a long time, and now that I've finished some of my other whips, I might start these two pages because they're not very detailed. And I already know what I want to do with this because I kind of want the colours of this frame to match the butterfly colours. So yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing. The only annoying thing about that is that I will want to use my chalk pastels for this kind of fairy dust thing for the butterfly, but we'll be away, but I can obviously come back to that when we get back. But yeah, so I was kind of thinking on working on multiple pages in this book at a time, just so that I don't get overwhelmed with this page and feel like it's taking forever, because I do want to see some accomplishment all the time with it and not get stuck on a page. So yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. So yeah, that's my current whip in Ivy and Inky Butterfly. So that's everything that I've got to show you pretty much. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I don't know when it's going up, but I will still be replying to comments and emails and things like that whilst I'm away. So I will still be keeping in contact with you and putting stuff up on my community tab. But yeah, I really hope you enjoy watching. Again, if you have any suggestions for videos, please feel free to comment down below. And if you want to contact me for anything, my email's down below, all of my links down below, as always. So yeah, I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.